Yo, fantasy community, welcome to the Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the TT FPL Pro-League, episode 16. So we finally back after another international break. I know much of us needed that little rest. Your boy finally come off a big week in game week 12 where he kissed the 100-point mark, exact 100 points, and we could get into that a little later in the show. But I hope all was well. Hope you all enjoyed the Diwali. You all were safe out there. And now we shifting gears back into the action for game week 13. So without further ado, let's kick things off with the review of game week 12. Well, the first game kicked off there. No Madison means problems for Spurs as they went down towards 2-1. Arsenal defeated Burnley 3-1. Everton defeated Crystal Palace and a short thriller 3-2. United got 3 points with a 1-0 victory over Luton. The Cherries of Bournemouth surprisingly downed hot Newcastle 2-0. Aston Villa defeated Fulham 3-1. Brighton could not get right as they drew 1-1 with Sheffield. 3-0. Mo Salah doubled there as Liverpool rolled past the Honeybees 3-0. Another surprising game led to a 3-2 win for West Ham. And an 8-8 thriller between City and Chelsea with a 4-4 draw as both teams shared the spoils in a controversial game to say the least. So that was the review of game week 12. The 4-4 was a shocker for myself. We don't really concede 4 goals, but congrats to the Chelsea fans. It was a well-earned draw. And now we move into the preview of game week 13. So this week, we have some tough games, a lot of the big things clashing. To kick things off in the Gandhi game, a big one, Manchester City versus Liverpool. Predict this one to be very close, 1-1 there. Expect West Ham to roll past Burnley 2-0. Crystal Palace to defeat Luton as well, 2-1. Another close game. The two big teams here, Newcastle, Chelsea, play out another 1-1 draw. Brighton finally get 3 points versus Forest, 2-0 in that one. Bournemouth continue their streak from last week, winning this one 2-1 versus Sheffield. Arsenal find themselves in a thriller but escape with 3 points, 3-2 versus Brentford. Spurs and Tottenham, I expect a close game again, 1-1 in that one. United scrape past Everton, 1-0. Although now, I do think with the point deduction, Everton win this game 1-0. So I'm changing the prediction here on site to 1-0 Everton, and then Wolves defeat Fulham 1-0. So that was the goat mouth predictions for game week 13. We'll revisit this to see how many I got right. And now that we finish with the housekeeping of the reviews and the previews of the fixtures, we move into the most anticipated segment of the show. It's the Proper Things segment. Here we give you the picks that you need to have in your team now and going forward, as they are the centerpieces to FPL in our aptly named Proper Things picks. Then we have for the aggressive players, the needle movers. These are the players that you should have in your team to rise rank immediately if you need a boost in points. Spilt milk means that these players have overstayed their welcome and need to get out of your team now as they have become net negatives, and wondering picks are the players you should keep an eye on now and going forward to possibly make a move in the coming weeks. So we kick things off again this week with the Proper Things picks. These again are the picks that should be in your team now and going forward as they are the centerpieces for FPL. And last week we had a home run 3 for 3 as in defense. We had Saliba returning 9 points, a goal, and a bonus there with the 2 points returning 9. Couldn't keep the clean sheet, unfortunately. Salah, a massive 16 points, 2 goals, bonuses, and the clean sheet plus the 2 for Liverpool, and Watkins with a goal for Aston Villa. So 9, 16, and 6 for the Proper Things picks last week. This week in defense, I have Anderson from Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are one of the few teams this week that actually have a great fixture for their defenders. And we also know Anderson is one to sometimes find himself at the end of an attacking return, whether it be a goal or assist. I think they have one of the best chances to return a clean sheet this game week. They also have great fixtures going forward, and Anderson is one of their most attacking defenders. He comes in at 5.1, which is a premium price in this stage of the game for defenders, but I do believe he's worth every penny. So Anderson from Crystal Palace is your proper things defender pick for game week 13. Shifting gears to midfield, I have to say that the guy that I wanted to put here would have been Jared Bowen of West Ham, but currently we all know he picked up an injury for England in the international break, so unfortunately the news coming in is that he has fluid in his knee and he missed the upcoming game week. So I had to pivot to my second option here, and I know some fans will be smiling as it's the star boy of Arsenal in Bukayo Saka, coming in at 8.6 million. They do not have one of the greatest fixtures this game week, but going forward, I think Arsenal have a supreme fixture when it comes to difficulty. They should breeze through those fixtures, and we know that the festive time of the season means a lot of goals, and Bukayo Saka is as nailed as they come, and those are the kind of players you need in your team. So Bukayo Saka of Arsenal, the star boy, coming in again at 8.6 million, is your proper things midfielder pick for game week 13. And in attack, on the forward line, he's finally back on his throne after coming in the silver medal position to Watkins in the prior weeks. It's big Erling Haaland back as the proper thing striker pick. No more superlatives to really describe this boy's striking prowess in front of goal. Comes in again at a whopping 14 mil, but he's proven time and time again that he's worth every penny. Tough game versus Liverpool this game week, but I do believe the boy will come through with some attacking returns, and you know City is one of the most attacking teams in the league. Erling Haaland returns to the top of the throne this week as your proper thing striking pick for game week 13. And now with the proper things picks sealed and delivered, we move now to the needle movers segment. This is my favorite segment, as these are for the aggressive players who are looking to rise their rank immediately and looking for those differential picks that could give them that immediate boost in points. In last game week, we picked a lot of injured players, as it seems. I did give the warning there on Wilson, but apparently Ben White picked up a knock. Last game week, couldn't return any points. Bruno missed and blanked versus Luton, as he could only return 3 points, and of course, as I said, Wilson didn't play. So it was a tough week for the needle mover picks for my aggressive players last game week. This game week promised better fortunes, but we starting off here with one of the most aggressive moves you could make in fantasy right now for the needle movers defender pick for game week 13. As I have Reece James as the candidate for this game week, coming in at 5.3 million. As we look at the fixtures this week, the more popular teams or the popular defenders have tough fixtures, as we have Newcastle versus Chelsea, we have City versus Liverpool, we have Arsenal versus Brentford, where I expect goals, so clean sheets could be at a premium. However, Reece James versus Newcastle, to me, provides an opportunity for Reece James to get some attacking returns, as Newcastle are suffering from a slew of injuries. They have not looked too impressive recently, and Reece James is one of the more attacking fullbacks. Also, we all know his prior work in FPL, and he's not highly owned currently, with Chelsea's fixtures not being favourable. However, Newcastle presents an opportunity for those who want to take the shot to bring James in for this game week and get points before everyone inevitably joins the James train, or James goes down, unfortunately, with another injury. So that's why James is the needle mover defender pick for game week 13. In midfield, we have a guy that I really like this game week. He was on the wondering pick last game week, and he scored, but unfortunately we didn't move him. But this game week, with us keeping an eye on him returning, it's Eze of Crystal Palace, coming in at 6.1 million as a needle mover midfielder pick. I think he's one of the best replacements if you do own Matoma or Bowen and looking for a replacement, as he has the fixtures, he has the form, And with a lot of tough games going on in the Premier League, when fixture meets form, this is one of the rare occasions you could get a lot of points from a differential pick like Eze. He's also nailed on set pieces for Crystal Palace, and all their attacking plays seem to come through their talisman. So Eze versus Luton is a prime fixture there to get some points up on your league mates. So Eze is your nail mover midfielder pick for game week 13. And finally, in the attacking department, I do have two options for the FPL community. First, I have Dom Solanke, who is my more favored pick, coming in at 6.4 million. Dom Solanke was in hot form versus Newcastle, scoring 2 goals, a brace in that one. He also has a favorable matchup now and going forward, and comes in at 6.4 million, which allows managers to possibly allot more funds to their midfield or their defense. So if you're moving from an Alvarez, who you don't really like now, versus Liverpool, or because he blanks in game week 18, you could probably jump to the Solanke train, save some money, and allocate those funds to a different area. And I do think Dom Solanke is one of those players who may not necessarily haul massively, but he keeps the points ticking over somehow. So Dom Solanke at 6.4 million is your needle mover pick for game week 13. And the alternative pick, as I said before, is a guy who I also said to keep an eye on a few weeks back. He played for Brazil and looked like he was fit. Didn't really have a great game versus Argentina, but he's back and he should see the start versus Brentford. I'm talking about Gabriel Jesus. This is a more riskier pick again, as Nketiah is also fit. But with what's going on with Odegaard and also Martinelli in international break, I think Jesus has a great chance to start. And coming in at 7.8 million, you do have an opportunity again to jump on this asset before more players jump on him or jump on the train. So Gabriel Jesus is the alternative needle movers pick for 7.8 million for those who are not feeling the Dom Solanke. But Dom Solanke would definitely be the guy I would pick this week if I'm looking to rise rank immediately. Now we switch gears into the Spilt Milk segment. This is the segment where we highlight players that should be leaving your team now as they become funky. Ooh, it smells here as they are becoming net negatives. Last week we went 2 for 3 as Odoji in the defending department, of course, was suspended, so returned 0 points. We missed on GWP, a haul there of 11 points for West Ham in a 3-2 win. And I warned you all about Ferguson, and apparently got a knock in between the video and the game week and didn't play. So a goose egg there as well for Evan Ferguson of Brighton. In this game week, again, I am seeing 12% owns Romero. So Romero has to be a Spilt Milk defender pick for game week 13. He serves 2 more games of suspension, so he will not be playing in game week 13 or 14, and then Spurs' schedule becomes a lot more difficult. So clean sheets for them will be at a premium. So those 12%, if you are watching the video, I hope you are, you should be moving on from Romero immediately. There's no if, buts, or maybes about that. In midfield, unfortunately, again, it's one of the guys who is currently in my team. I really expected him to play in game week 13, but all the news coming out from Brighton is stating that Mitoma is going to miss the game versus Nottingham Forest. And Brighton on the whole have not been in the best form. I expected them to turn it around and Mitoma to turn it around versus Forest, but if he's not playing, I definitely have to move for an alternative. And with Brighton not really being in the best of form again, I think they are better assets. So if you're a Mitoma owner like myself, I think it might be time to move on from the Japanese superstar. And finally, in the striking department, those who have Callum Wilson, unfortunately, the English hitman is also serving some time on the injury list as he picked up an injury and he will not be playing for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks, could be a little longer. And the Swedish Viking Isak is also back for Newcastle, so he will be getting the snaps or the forward minutes there for the Toons. So if you're a Wilson owner, unfortunately, he will not be playing for the next 3 weeks, and I think you have to move on from him. So Callum Wilson is your Spilt Milk forward pick for game week 13. And finally, we have the Wondering Pick segment. This is the segment where I recommend you keep a keen eye on players to possibly bring them in the upcoming game weeks. Last game week, unfortunately, we recommended Estupinian in defense between the video and Brighton playing in Europe on Thursday. He picked up an injury, leaving the Ecuadorian player on the injury list. Then and now going forward, so it's going to be at least another game week till we see the Ecuadorian left back. As he scored last week in midfield, nice return from him there, and he landed himself on a needle mover pick this game week. And I told you all to listen to hear if we have any news on Nkunku. He's on a cusp of return, but nothing to see there. So this game week, in the left back position or in the defending pick, it's the English left back of Manchester United in Luke Shaw. We've seen the struggles of Marcus Rashford this season. Maybe it's correlated to Luke Shaw not being there behind him on the left side of the attack for United. Maybe his return helps Rashford be able to feed the kids, because a Rashford fan, you need to see that, but you need to keep your ear close to the gun right now to hear if Luke Shaw is indeed going to get the start versus Everton in Game Week 13. So Luke Shaw lands on your wondering defender pick for Game Week 13. In midfield, we have a former player of mine and now a Chelsea superstar. He's an absolute penalty phenom, as I know he scored one versus my boys last game week. It's Cole Palmer coming in at 5.2 million. And Cole Palmer is one of the most popular names and players in the game right now, as he is captured the Chelsea fans' hearts, and his price allows managers to delegate funds to more pressing parts of their team. And Chelsea have a tough fixture versus Newcastle this week, but we know Newcastle is suffering from injury, so it's a great opportunity to scout Cole Palmer to bring him in the future game weeks. I do know that a lot of managers are rushing for Cole this game week as his price is very enticing, but I would recommend one more week of scouting. But if you have to bring him in now, I'm okay with that as well. And finally, in the forward line, in the Wondering Pick segment, we have the Swedish Viking, Alexander Isak. I know one of my boys, Magnus, will be happy with this pick, as this is his boy. And Alexander Isak is back for Newcastle. He's fit, and with no Callum Wilson projected to be available for the Twins for the next couple game weeks, Isak should be seeing all the minutes in the forward line. He's also nailed on penalties, and we know that Newcastle is an attacking force in the Premier League. So he's now back from injury. I'd recommend you keep your eyes on him this game week, see how he goes, and you could possibly bring him in for someone like Watkins if you find that the Watkins has soured, or if you want to, deviate from Alvarez or one of those players as you eye the Manchester City blank. So Alexander Isak provides an opportunity to do a like-for-like switch at again 7.4 million. So you'll keep an eye on the Swedish hitman this week for Newcastle. So that brings us to the end of the Wondering Pick segment and to the end of the Proper Thing segment for Game Week 14. I hope you all enjoyed the picks, and don't forget to go down in the comment section and leave a reply, to like the video, to subscribe to the channel. If you don't like the picks, you could see. So if you have alternative picks, we would appreciate, well, I would appreciate the replies. And if you like the picks, you could just say good job, because we finally in November, when we come into the end of November, and the form kicking in. So I appreciate everyone looking at the video, and forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And now with the Proper Thing segment signed and delivered, I like to proudly introduce a new segment here for episode 16. It's called the Dream 11. Here is where I give a team of 11 that I believe could deliver the most points, but it adheres to the $100 million budget that FPL gives us. So if you have a little more funds to work with, as your team value might be a little higher, you could make a little tweak here and there to bring in a more expensive asset. But for the sake of this segment, we're working with 100 million. And this is also for my free hit players. You might want to do a free hit. So this week in goal, I have Areola of West Ham coming in at 4.3 million. I do like the game versus Burnley and the chance of Areola turning a clean sheet, so 4.3 million there. In defense, my three back, I should say, two Crystal Palace players in Anderson and Gehi coming in at 5.1 and 4.6 respectively. I think that defensive clean sheets could be at a premium this game week, so the Crystal Palace double there of Gehi and Anderson could come in handy with attacking return on the horizon. I also have Saliba accompanying them. In midfield, I have, of course, Mo Salah, I have Saka, Eze, and Kudos. Love Eze as he need mover pick. Saka, proper things pick. Salah, when we know all about Salah, and Kudos is my little differential there to adhere to the budget. So I have 4 midfield, and then my 3 attack, of course, Erling Haaland, also my captain this game week. I have accompanying Watkins of Aston Villa, and another pick of mine who I really like this game week in Dom Solanke. So we're playing the 3-4-3 this game week with Erling Haaland captain. So for all my free hitters and for the people who need to know what I would do if I were on free hit, that is my dream 11 for game week 13. And next up is another new category to the show. You know, viewers were asking for this, so I have named it Captaincy Corner. This is where I give you my favorite captains for the upcoming game week. When in game week 13, we know that, again, tough fixtures this game week, but my favorite captain this week is my guy, big Erling Haaland, at home versus Liverpool, a tough fixture. But Erling Haaland has proved that he's somewhat fixture-proof. It's the Gandhi game, but I do prefer Erling versus Salah in the Liverpool versus Manchester City game, simply because the game is at the Etihad. Had this game been at Anfield, I would have preferred Salah, as he has been known to give us the work, and he ended Cancelo's career in Sky Blue last season. So Erling beats out Salah for me for captaincy this game week. Currently, I do have my favorite player for captaincy this game week, but I have already said in the video he's a big injury doubt, as he has reportedly has fluid in his knee and is a big doubt for the game. But between the video airing and the news coming in the game week, we don't know if things would change, so I have to put Jared Bowen, who would have been my captain this game week if he were fit. I like him a little more than Erling, but with the injury doubts surrounding his availability, Erling nips it for me. So Jared Bowen, for those who are looking to rise rank, and if we get news he will be playing, he would be my favorite for captain, but I have to mention him here. In third, like I said, just because the game is at the Etihad, I prefer Erling Haaland, but Salah lands at 3. For those who have Heung-min Son, this is a great opportunity to captain him. He comes in at my 4th position for captaincy. Could be a great differential. I currently do not own Son, but if you do own him versus Aston Villa, this could be a chance to get a leg up on your opponents. And 5 is for those players who have the belly. He's my favorite pick in the needle mover segment this game week. He has the form and the fixture. It's Eze of Crystal Palace. So Haaland, Bowen, Salah, Son, and Eze in that order. Those who narrowly miss out for me is Starboy, Saka, and Solanke. So that was the Captaincy Corner picks for game week 13. And now we move into the segment with the most banter, is the group chat with the most talks I have ever been a part of. It's the race for the 10K. Here on the race for the 10K, we give you an update on what's going on in TT FPL Pro-League and how the standings look and which managers are making their move in the inevitable race to win that 10K come the end of the season. So, taking a look at the table, there's no change as the leader. Remains to be Andre Roberts, he with 12, with a 70-point game week in game week 12, 782 points overall. So Andre Roberts retaining his lead at top the TT FPL Pro League. If we take a look at what Andre did in game week 12, we could see Johnson in goal, Soufal, Anderson, and Lascelles those 4 players combined for 2 points, so it was tough for Andre in the defensive department. Martinelli, Son, and Chan all blanked, 2 points each for them, but Bowen delivered with 8, and his captain Salah with a massive 32. He also had Erling Haaland and Watkins in attack for 16 and 6 points respectively. So a 70-point game week for Andre means that he stays atop or as the leader for the TT FPL Pro League. So congrats to Andre on his lead. In second, we have the Doctor making his move again as Dr. Phil Foden, Kapil Ramcharan with a massive 88-point game week. Cements himself in second, 1 point behind the leader, a massive 88-point game week. Quick look at Kapil, and we see that it was Tsimikas with the big 15 points, Cash and Gabriel Ariola in the defense. In midfield, Saka, Son, Salah is captain with 32, missed on Matoma like myself with 1 point, Eze with 6, and Big Darwin with 5, and Erling again with 16. So massive 88 there from Kapil, climbing the ranks to second. Dr. Phil Foden, he's back people. And finally we have Jeff Ramdas and Nova Turent here at 779, 86-point game week, rounding out the top 3. Gorillas FC by Nicholas and Lion King by Simba La Fortune round out the top 5. Very close there, 769 and 768 there. My cousin here, he's not my little cousin again because he's playing big work this season. Nick Bandu here and Pelican Bay in 6th. We have Brandon Wool in 7th. Baruda FC by Shane Sanka climbing into the top 10 this game week in 8th position. White Rice Party and Salim in 9th. And to round out the top 10, Return of the Savage by Brian Carrington. So congratulations to the top 10. You know, we have one more game week to end the month of November. So we'll have our Manager of the Month at the end of this game week. And congratulations again to the top 10. I know you all putting in work this season. So we just scrolling through the table to see what's going on. You know, we have to go a little way before we reach number 36 here. We know what that mark is in play with, but he's definitely not that. You know, we have Gaza Chubbs by Ezra Ramdeen, a massive 94 points from Ezra there, 733 points overall. Take a quick look at what Ezra did this game for his 94. He brought in Saliba, so he was watching the show. I'm glad he was watching the show. Pau Torres and Yaska Vadio with a goose egg there, unfortunately, Ariola in goal. His midfield return, Bowen, Adingra, Saka, and Salah captain. His attack also, everyone returned there. Haaland, Alvarez, and Watkins. Should have played Tsimikas, Ezra, as I see that big 15 points on the bench, but a 94 game week there for Gaza Chubbs FC. And finally, we see a little green arrow for your ball, like I say. The car now start getting a little momentum as we move in. You know, a big 104, but I did take a hit, so a even 100. You know, we kiss 100 there like Virat Kohli. Shout out to the king, although he didn't win the World Cup. You know, 100 is your favorite score. Take a quick look at my team here. See Onana in goal, Tsimikas, Cash, and Saliba. You know, Cash is the only one brung in the cup there with no returns. In midfield, Matoma. You know, another culprit there in midfield for me with 1 point. Gordon, Bowen, and Captain Salah. And then in attack, Darwin, Haaland, and Watkins all returning. So a big week for your boy, 104, but 100 if you take away the hits. So big week, and we finally, you know, it's November, so we're making that push towards the 10K. So we're looking forward to game week 13 to see if we could climb the ranks. And now with the race for the 10K wrapped up. Congratulations again to Andre. We move now to a little segue, which is called My Planned Transfer, My Planned Moves this game week. This is where I give you an insight into what I am doing with my team this game week. If we currently look at my team right now, we could see that I have a little bit of trouble with some flags. With Matoma and the news of Bowen being very, very bad for my team. The plan this game week is to play the 3-5-2 before the news of the Bowen injury. And while we will be listening to get news to see if he will be available for game week 13, the planned move, if he is available, is simple. Matoma switch to Eze, with Darwin on the bench, and we play a 3-5-2 with Tsimikas, Cash, and Saliba in defense. And Onana in goal, and Areola to deputize if he does not play, because he's also an injury doubt. Now if Bowen is injured and he's going to miss a couple game weeks, unfortunately I will not be able to make the move for Eze, as now I would recommend again that he move Bowen on if he misses a few game weeks, like I said earlier in the video, and I am going straight to Saka. Now going to Saka would mean I need to free up some budget, and I will have to downgrade Matoma, and the only real candidate that I can think about for this move is Cole Palmer, as Eze I would be priced out of. So the move if Bowen is injured for multiple game weeks would be Bowen and Matoma to Saka and Palmer. And then I know I'm an aggressive player, so I have to give you all insight into something I might also do, but this is a move that is less than 1% likely, as when I brought in Darwin, I planned to bench him versus Manchester City, as he will be coming back from international break and it's a tough fixture, and I would unleash him in game week 14. But if I feel the need to keep Bowen for another game week, if he's just out for game week 13, as I do like Bowen as well, another move I am thinking about and may do is Matoma to Eze, because like I said, I do like Eze. He's on the Captaincy Corner segment, and then Darwin to Solanke. But again, this is a move that is very unlikely 1 or less than 1%, as I do love Darwin. I'd like to keep him for game week 14 going forward, but I have to give this little insight to you all for watching the video, as this comes at the end of the video. So those are my planned moves this week. Hopefully Bowen is fit and I can just do the simple Matoma to Eze, but we never know until we hear the presser on Friday. So that was a little insight into what I would do, and that concludes my planned transfer segment, or the little insight for this game week. So now this brings us to the end of the Proper Things episode for this game week. I hope you all enjoyed the episode and the new segments. I had a great time delivering the episode this game week, and you could show that you're enjoying the content by going down in the comment section and leaving a reply. It could be good, bad, or ugly. You could say, Michael, you finally, it take how much game weeks? 12 game weeks to get out of green arrow and come back on track. Well, it took 8 game weeks. It was a tough 8 weeks there in between for the boy. Or, you know, you could say it was luck now. You know how it is go. But like I said, it's November. So leave those comments. To subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, I would personally appreciate that. And to like the video, you know, every little bit helps. And again, I hope to see you all next week to see if the new segments was segmented and if the boy actually got another green arrow. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget to do proper things in all walks of life. Peace.